All right, everybody, we're back. For the most part, I got everything cleaned up and sorted. I left some of the stuff in the sealed cases, though. Out of 99 cards, we ended up with 52 gradable, so like 56% about. And then out of the ungradable ones, though, a lot of them were PC cards or those like dollar comic book cards I really didn't think were going to get be gradable anyways. More of those, I just bought them for $1, then throw them back up for like $3 or $4 probably somewhere. So yeah, we'll get started with the ungradables though. So the Victor sadly looked really good on the front, but it has big old scratch on the back of it right there. I have seen somebody send things like that into SGC and they still will give pretty decent grades, so I might do that in the future. We got corner up here. Most of these are just going to be surface issues, so surface issues, really thrashed on the surface of this one. This is a super thick card, so it's just got a little too much thick card wear, really bad surface, edge and corner. I think this had like a deep scratch in it, like a very deep scratch, sadly, and a couple of dimples. This has surface dimpling. This is a brand new card. It has a lot of surface scratches and dimpling on it, just poorly made. This has a really big dent in the corner, but this was a cheap. Actually, I only paid like $2 for this. I remember now. Just a cheap PC card, though. It's still really cool to me. Too much surface issues. So this has all 4 of the corners are white, so I wouldn't do it with all 4 corners white unless it was a player that was worth it, card that was worth it. The Tyrese looked really good, but it has a super deep scratch along here, just very, very deep scratch. Edge wear, corners. This was really close. It just has a tiny, like 1 or 2 too many dimples, plus I wouldn't get it graded anyway. It's just PC. I was sad about this. It's only $1 card, but I thought it'd be a nice one to grade, but there's just too much. Edges are too suspect on it for sure. So this was a little bit off center, not the worst, but then it's also got a few dimples on it. Same thing, this has surface dimpling and a lifted corner on the back. Brand new card, but it's paper, so it's got one of the corners up on it already. A little bit off center, wasn't too much of a problem, but this has a lot of surface scratches. Paper card, so it has those white corners showing. This was off center, otherwise it looks really nice, but it's just a PC card. Too much edge wear corners. I just didn't own a copy of this yet, so I wanted it. It's beat up. Edge wear and corners. These edge, plus it's very off center. These very rarely you get them in good enough or even worth it to grade. Comic book cards, too much wear. So typical on these shirts is the surfaces on these are really, really fragile to like denting and imprints, and then it has the normal just shirt die cut wear on the edges. Edge wear. This actually didn't look too bad on the front at all, but it did have a couple of lifted corners, and I think one scratch. It was just too slightly out of. That's just not being worth it. Lifted corner on the McGrady. This had something black on it, but I was able to wipe most of it off. But it's just got too much surface wear. The back didn't look too bad, but I just don't think it'd be worth it. Edge wear, really cool card. All the corners are white, and then edge on the back. This has a dented corner. Sad about these because they're new cards, but their production on them was just really poor, so there are surface dimples all over these ones. This one looked pretty good on the front, but it does have a white corner at the top. It's just not worth. This is a really cool card, but it had a bunch of surface scratches on it. Slightly off center. And it did have a little bit of surface issues, but it just wouldn't be worth grading either way. And then this had some surface dimples on it, and it's also just going to be for the PC. So yeah, that was 47 cards. Now we'll get on to the cards that be like 8s, 9s, possibly some 10s. Doesn't mean I would grade them all. I left all these in the seals because they may not even be worth grading. Tried to look at the surface as close as I could. I think barring anything I don't, that I do miss on the surface, they should all get 9s or better if I did decide to grade them. Probably get a 9 on the flounder. I think it's slightly off center. It's really hard to tell on these cards, and then it maybe had one little corner problem on it, but I might be fixable. It might be a 10. I think I could clean this up to be a 10. And like a little bit of edge and surface that both looked like they were manageable to clean. So the really cool silk card actually comes in a cardboard back border. So that looked pretty good overall. I don't even see a lot of white on it. It's a little bit off center, but if they will grade it, I think it would be a cool card to get graded. So I'm going to try it out. Giannis looked pretty solid. Didn't see really too much wrong with it. Maybe one slight surface scratch. Back looked really good. The Tim Duncan actually looked really good, but it does have this, I think, print defect right on his face. So I'm going to look into that more, but otherwise probably a 9, depending on. And then LeBron, it does have the white corners, but I could probably get an 8 on this. I don't know if it's worth it or not. In an 8, I'll have to look into it. The Scotty looked really good overall. I don't know if it's worth grading. I think it would probably get a 9. I don't know about the whole. I'm not very knowledgeable on this if it's hulking or natural or not. Otherwise, most everything looked pretty good about it, even the surface. The Manu looked good, probably a 9, possibly a 10. The Victor would probably get a 9. I think it had one, just the slight white corner at the bottom. The Keldon looked great, like a 10. I wouldn't grade it. The Jalen's a little bit off center, otherwise it looked good, so I'd probably get a 9. Same thing with the Cooper, it's just a little bit off center. The Michael Crabtree looked actually really good. I didn't see any surface problems at all. It looks really well centered. Just not probably worth sending in a Michael Crabtree, at least not right now. Maybe some kind of special in the future. We got the D-Rob on the new cards. Most of the new cards looked good. There was a couple that were already in poor condition, but most of them looked decent. Parker. The Steph City edition looked pretty good, possibly a 9, possibly a 10. The Jean Grey looked really good, like a 10. The Colossus, I didn't see too much wrong with it. So I think it would have a good shot at a 10. There might have been one small thing on the back. The front looked really good. So the Old Maids Pokemon card looked pretty good. The Kilowattrel is not too bad looking. It's slightly off center top to bottom, but looks decent otherwise. This one might be like a contender for SGC or something. It has just a tiny bit of paper loss and one slight white corner. It's not bad. The Hawkman, and then same kind of deal with Doctor Strange. Just has like one slight white corner on it. I don't know if this would even be worth sending in. The Mosaic Prism Justin Herbert looked good, like 9 or a 10. I was pretty happy about this limited trios card. It actually looks really clean. Didn't see really almost anything wrong with it at all. Maybe just a touch of white on the top back. But that's a PC card either way. And then the James Harden looked pretty good. Probably could get a 10, some shot at a 9. Both the Randy Mosses look like they'd at least be solid 9s. They both have like one slight different thing on the front of them. Maybe keeping them from getting a 10, but they should at least be solid 9s. I was pretty happy with those. The Rick Barry looked really solid. The Steph looked pretty solid. Maybe chance of getting a 9. I think there was one small issue on it, on the back corner. Yeah, so that might get the 9 for that. I was pretty happy about the Crusade. I was more like, this is a PC card anyways, but somebody took really, really good care of this card. It has got one little dimple, but otherwise the rest of the card is really, really clean. And I was kind of thinking this would look really good in a black tux, so I might go that route with this. But I definitely think I want to slab it up. That's just a sweet card. They had other players, but since I PC this, that's just the only one I got. And the Fractal looked like a 9, possibly a 10. There was like one small, slight front issue. Tiny bit off center than I thought on the Jalen, but otherwise it looked pretty solid. I think it would be between a 9 and a 10. If I can manage to clean the edges up on this Anthony Edwards, I think it would be a 10. Otherwise, I think it'd be a 9. So if I can clean the edges up, I'll send it. If I can't clean the edges up, I'll probably just sell it raw again. And then for a super thick card, somebody took really good care of this Urlacher. I wish I would have got the other one as well, but it looks at least like a 9. It doesn't even have almost anywhere that I can see on it. So that's pretty sweet. The Steph, like I said, I was worried, but I looked over it, and besides the centering, there's no denting on the back, so I really can't see. There's one little tiny scratch on the front, but I don't think that would impact it at all. So I'm pretty happy with either keeping it raw or possibly grading it, but definitely getting it for the price that I got. It seems pretty fair. The Jalen looked really good. The Barry looked really good, probably even a 10. This had one dimple on it, maybe one like small other one, but I think they could possibly ignore that. So between a 9 and a 10. It's a little bit off center on the Jalen, I think, but barring what they count for this starting side, it might not be. Otherwise, it looked pretty decent. So this was off center, but it looks like a solid 9. This looks really good. I didn't see too much wrong with this. For a thick old card, this barely has anywhere, so I think this might pull a solid 9. A little disappointing on the Jalen because it's in a sealed, so it's never been opened, but it does have a slight touch of white on both the bottom corners, so we would get the 9. I don't know if I'll crack it and grade it, or I'll just end up moving it like this because of that. We'll have to see. And then that was 46 cards. If I had to make an immediate grading pile, a lot of these cards are probably going to go off sooner than later, though. But if I had to make an immediate grading pile, what looked really good, the Vlad Gold looked super good, clean. The Shea looked super clean. Pending on a little troubling telling the centering on these, both of the Disney cards looked really, really nice. The Patrick Willis looks really, really nice. It does have one slight print line going up here, so hoping that they can ignore that. Otherwise, it may get the 9, but it could possibly pull the 10. And then the Beast card, nothing wrong with it at all. Back looks completely great. Front looks completely great. Centered, that should get the 10. So, yeah, those were the piles. I'll probably have some more PSA returns coming out soon. Thank you guys all for watching. Any likes and support as always, and I hope you have a good rest of your night. Thank you.